They desired her beauty, relied on her magic, and praised her as the goddess of love. Yet deep within Asgard there existed a quiet fear that Freya was never truly on their side. She did not rule through thunder like Thor, nor through command like Odin, nor through chaos like Loki, but through something far more unsettling, the freedom to choose whom to love, whom to honor, and whom to abandon without explanation. Freya held the power to bless warriors in life and claim them in death, to teach forbidden magic to kings of gods, and to walk away from loyalty when respect disappeared, and that made her impossible to control. The gods called her gentle, but watched her carefully. They called her beautiful, but whispered about her influence. And long before Ragnarok was ever spoken aloud, the gods had already learned a dangerous truth. A goddess who loves freely is far more terrifying than one who rules by force. That is why Freya was not only worshipped, she was feared.
Unveil the legends.
The Vanir goddess who changed Asgard forever. Freya did not originate from Asgard, and that alone made her dangerous. She came from the Vanir, a tribe of gods older in wisdom, and deeper in understanding than the war-driven Jir. And when the great war between the gods finally ended, Freya was sent to Asgard as both a symbol of peace and a reminder of unresolved tension. The Jir welcomed her beauty, admired her grace, and celebrated her presence. But beneath their smiles lived suspicion, because Freya represented everything they could not command: emotion, fertility, desire, and intuition. Unlike the Jir, gods who believed power came from domination and conquest, Freya understood that true influence was born from connection, from knowing how to nurture life and when to withdraw it. She walked freely among the gods, loved openly, and never allowed herself to be reduced to a possession, even as Odin himself watched her with a mixture of fascination and resentment. What unsettled the gods most was not Freya's independence, but her refusal to conform to their rules, because she did not ask to be respected, she expected it. And expectations, when unmet, have consequences. War was the language of the Jir, and Freya learned it quickly. When battles ended and the fields were soaked with blood, the gods believed that Odin alone would decide the fate of fallen warriors. Yet they soon discovered that half of the dead were claimed by Freya herself. The bravest, the most passionate, the most fiercely devoted souls were taken to Folkvanger, Freya's hall, where honor was not measured by obedience, but by intensity of spirit. This was the moment when the gods realized that Freya was not merely a goddess of love and fertility. She was a goddess of judgment. By choosing who deserved honor in death, Freya quietly balanced Odin's authority, and that balance frightened him, because power shared as power threatened. The gods admired Freya's compassion, yet they feared the implications of her choices, because she proved that even the afterlife was not immune to her influence. From that moment onward, Freya was no longer seen as a guest in Asgard. She became a rival presence. Freya's desire for Brísingamen, the legendary necklace forged by dwarves beneath the earth, was not born of vanity alone, but of recognition, because the necklace reflected something the gods often denied: the power of longing. She bargained for it with 4 dwarves, offering 4 nights of her company, and when she returned to Asgard wearing Brísingamen, the gods praised her beauty while quietly condemning her choices. Odin, who had sacrificed his own eye for wisdom and sent countless warriors to die for glory, judged Freya harshly for choosing desire on her own terms. When he demanded that she surrender the necklace, Freya refused, because surrender would mean admitting that her sacrifice was shameful, and Freya had never believed that love or desire diminished her worth. Odin's response was calculated and cruel. He cursed Freya to wander the worlds in grief, forcing her tears to fall as red gold upon the earth, ensuring that her suffering would be visible, remembered, and eternal. Yet the punishment failed in the way all unjust punishments do. Freya did not break. She learned. Each tear sharpened her understanding of loss, deepened her magic, and taught her that the gods who judged her sacrifices would never hesitate to exploit them. Freya possessed knowledge that unsettled the gods more than weapons ever could. Through seiðr, a form of magic tied to fate, emotion, and foresight, she could see what was hidden, sense what was inevitable, and understand truths the gods preferred to ignore. Odin learned seiðr from Freya, despite its association with shame and taboo, and though he gained power from it, he never forgave her for being its true master. Freya's magic did not seek control, it sought understanding. And understanding, in the wrong hands, becomes prophecy. Freya saw Ragnarok long before the signs became visible, and she knew which gods would fall, which bonds would break, and which betrayals would ignite the final war. She warned Odin. She mourned Baldur before his death. She wept not because she was powerless, but because she understood that fate cannot always be undone without unraveling the world itself. The gods mistook her restraint for indifference. They did not realize that Freya's greatest strength was knowing when not to interfere. As whispers spread through Asgard, the gods began to question Freya's silence. They wondered why she did not prevent tragedy, why she allowed Loki's schemes to unfold, and why war continued to feed her halls with honored dead. Some accused her of benefiting from chaos. Others feared she understood Ragnarok too well to fear it. What terrified the gods most was the possibility that Freya accepted the end of the world long before they did, and that acceptance made her untouchable. Unlike Odin, who fought destiny, Freya endured it. Unlike Thor, who resisted fate with force, Freya absorbed it with wisdom. And in a world built on resistance, acceptance appeared dangerous. Freya did not seek dominion, thrones, or worship enforced through fear. She sought autonomy. She loved freely, taught selectively, and withdrew her loyalty when respect disappeared, and the gods could never decide whether this made her compassionate or cruel. They loved her because she nurtured life, desire, and hope. They feared her because she remembered betrayal and never begged for forgiveness. Even as Ragnarok approached, Freya remained steady, because endings did not frighten a goddess who understood cycles better than kings and warriors. Freya was never meant to be safe, predictable, or easily worshipped, because she represents a truth the gods refused to accept, that love without freedom becomes tyranny, and power without empathy becomes hollow. She was loved because she healed, desired, and honored life. She was feared because she chose when to give, when to take, and when to walk away. And that is why Freya endures in myth, because the most dangerous force in any world is not war, prophecy, or death. It is a being who understands consequences and still chooses freely.